Hey, welcome to The Five, where Matthew Larsen and I talk 5 things we're doing in our businesses today to make money. Matt, how you doing?
Great. It's great to be here with the Marilyn Monroe of dudes on a podcast.
Talk about that.
Well, you were just talking about that 15 seconds ago.
What do you
So
mean, Matt?
how are you today, Marilyn Monroe?
Fantastic. Fabulous, as per
You're doing
usual.
great. Very good.
Yeah,
I
very
like
good.
that.
I wonder what Marilyn Monroe's MRR was.
Probably not as much as yours. Probably way more, actually. Not more than mine, but yours for sure.
Obligatory knock.
So
I
like,
like it.
when is this MRR? Like, let's stop fucking around. Like,
Like what am I at now? I'm still at
yeah,
100. Yeah, it's been a week, so it hasn't really changed.
yeah, exactly. Well, you can get a lot done in a week. Some of us,
I
at
guess
least.
you can get a lot done in a week. It
Yeah.
sounds like. What are you at now, Matt?
MRR or just R?
Let's just talk the R.
Are several millions of
Jesus
dollars.
Christ.
Only like 18% profit though, so
Yeah,
still
fair.
in the millions. But
real talk, I mean, there's a lot of utility in that, right? Like we always talk how revenue is vanity and profit is sanity, but like from like a business valuation perspective, from like your impact on the world perspective, like revenue does matter.
It's pretty important. That's what if you're trying to sell your business, bankers just say, just get the revenue up. I'm like,
Yeah.
the profit? No, just get the revenue. We'll figure it out. I'm like, nice. I'll do that then. But I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. Like when there was zero interest rates and an economy, like it was even
Yeah, with the
less.
clown economy. Right.
Yeah, you didn't even have to have revenue. Like that would actually be worse.
Actually, yeah, no, if you had like between $0 and like $1 million of revenue, you'd get less funding than if you were pre-revenue.
Yes, like that scene in Silicon Valley. You watch that show?
I don't watch that show, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, why would you go after?
pre-revenue.
Why would you go after revenue? Like to make money? No.
Crazy.
So what do you do? Like, let's just get right into it. Hey, you want to do 5 things again, just like every other time? Is that what you really want right now?
That was your whole idea. What the hell?
Yeah. Okay, let's just do that. Like, let's just do that then.
Let's do it.
So the first thing I want to talk about today is the beauty of selling things that are legally mandated for people to buy. Just beautiful. As opposed to like nobody really needs your AI school group or my courses or they don't need a lot of things, honestly. But right now I've been being an affiliate more and more and growing my revenue to said millions per month with stuff like auto insurance, stuff like medical insurance, where like stuff like home insurance, where stuff like mortgages. Well, at least in the insurance stuff, like you are legally obligated to have insurance in at least the countries I'm doing affiliate in. And it's just so much easier, instead of trying to convince someone to join your school group or something, they just have to buy it or they're going to not be able to drive and get fined.
Interesting.
It's just
I didn't
so
even
much
think about
better.
that. You have the law on your side, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, if someone wants to drive, they need a car insurance. If someone wants basically to live in the United States, they need medical insurance or they're going to be bankrupt or screwed. Maybe it's not legally mandated, but the consequences are pretty much worse than being legally mandated. And like if someone wants a house, they need a mortgage. If someone wants, all of these stuff where they're going to buy it from someone, so that really gives you a leg up. The downside, of course, is that everyone also is doing that because for the exact same reasons that you would want to do it. But it's just so much better than trying to sell someone a course, someone's community, even just like random agency services, just the things that most people would sell online. It's just way better if it's legally mandated or everyone needs it.
To be clear, Matt, this is all B2C, right?
B2C, well, B2C, but a lot of them like for business loans, group insurance for your like team, like benefits. Okay. But yeah, a lot of it is B2C. Probably 70% and 30% is B2B. Some of the business lending is pretty good. But yeah, and then like the second part of that, like that's 2A. 2B is I'm also selling a lot of Ozempic as an affiliate these days.
Interesting.
And that's not really legally mandated, but that's like my first real taste of the Alex Hormozi value formula being in my favor instead of the opposite, because a lot of my offers, you'll just do 120 hours of work and like learn so much new stuff and then you'll probably get more leads,
Yeah.
But now it's like, you're going to lose weight. Everyone else is saying it. It takes almost no time and no effort, and it's a hot offer right now.
Interesting. You're like selling to base desires more than anything, I'd say. So, I mean, you must
Yeah.
really be stripping away the complexity versus something like, a leveraged consulting product like what you're doing before.
Yeah, just much higher TAM, much higher like consequences of not getting it type thing. And it's working well for me so far. Like any of those GLP-1s, so Ozempic, Wegovy, or however you say it, like semaglutide, anything. And like they're pretty much all the same thing, but like really good ads are like, you've heard of Ozempic, but this is even better. It's just a different brand name with the exact same thing.
Classic.
People eat it up. It's the
Really?
new one. Yeah. So I think it's I think even beyond that, like if you're a lead gen company for whatever, like the natural final step is you just like generate the leads yourself and then sell them instead of having clients, instead of doing what you do, instead of trying to get people, you work with an insurance company, instead of just trying to get them insurance leads, you just generate the leads yourself and then sell it at a higher arbitrage of value. And if you're really that good at it, like it's probably what you would do.
Yeah.
Fortune 500 company's not going to buy your insurance company services, but I'm selling tons and tons of leads to them for kind of insane values recently.
So you see it almost as like a continuum, hey? Just in terms of like lead generation proficiency.
Yeah,
There's like selling leads for other people using your services. If you're really good, you're just going to generate the leads for your like there's like Done With You, where you try and help them and you build accessory systems like I do. But then if you're really, really, really good at leads, you just manage the thing yourself. And if you're really, 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 really good at leads, you just don't work with those clients at all. And then you just go straight to a consumer and sell like some big aggregate.
Yeah, it's like the bell curve, when you're starting off, you have to do performance only because you're stupid and you know it's going to trust you. And then you go to retainers, and then when you're good, you do performance only. And then it's different because I got a contract now with one of the 5 biggest insurance companies in the United States, probably therefore the world, because I'm sure the biggest ones are in the world.
Yeah.
And they just like, I have a contract. We'll just buy all of your leads that you generate at 20% margin, like a markup. So I just send them like screenshot of my ad account and the amount of leads and like validate them, minus the invalid ones. And then they just send me they just send me money for 20% more. It's just beautiful.
You think like when you're a beginner, you look up at people making about as much money as you are now, and you're like, man, these guys must have the most insane, complicated systems for like lead attribution and stuff. It's like, no, I just screenshot my ads dashboard and I text it to the guy.
Yeah, well, text it to like a bunch. Yeah, and then they pay like the payment's kind of like net 60 though. So it's kind of annoying.
Oh, yeah, that is kind of.
But they bought 79,000 leads from me last month.
Jesus,
for a 20% markup.
Wow, and these are for like semaglutide or whatever.
No, that's insurance. That's insurance leads. The semaglutides and like the GLP-1s, that's like an e-commerce. Like you're going to a checkout, so it's kind of like proven. Like they just see how many. You don't need to tell them anything. So on Ozempic offers, like a lot of them, you'll pay like $270, like CPA. Right now, at least, I'm getting for like $190. Like that's how much I spend in ads to get a $270 payout.
Jeez, man.
And I'm spending like over $10,000 a day right now.
Yeah, natural evolution of just you being the most proficient ads guy ever, I guess. You think about it.
I guess so.
Because you've done affiliates before, right? This isn't your first time doing affiliates.
Yeah, I've done it for a long time, but I would mostly do it through like a newsletter first instead of just ads right to someone's offer.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I am, our friend Eric, I've been teaching him how to do it too. So we're like working on a lending offer together.
Yeah, he just called me today. I wonder if that had something to do with it.
Yeah, maybe.
I want to like start a freaking run club out here, man.
Yeah, you should. You should. But yeah, just stuff that you have to buy, that everyone has to buy. And like, well, Ozempic, you don't have to buy it, but 70% of people are overweight or obese.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
It deals with like core fundamental human need. It is to be attractive. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Or just healthy. Like, just healthy, like a lot of them actually, I don't know if they're ever going to get attractive, but They're huge right now. You know what I mean?
Matt, come on, man. You're talking to
Yeah.
the Marilyn Monroe of the
Yeah.
industry.
I understand.
Any more sense?
I understand. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Just a lot better. Like, and then when you're small, you have to like get clients, and then when you're big enough, like one person will just buy all your leads.
Makes sense.
And they did it. I got it locked in for 6 months so far. It's the first time we signed a contract. Hopefully, I can renew that in what would that be? September, I guess. So it's
I'm
from
curious,
March
what
to
sort
September.
of relationship does this look like? Like, whoever you're working with is
Well,
not
this
your
is a this is
boss.
a so like got this one because I was consulting with this like founder of a insurance company
Right.
that it's like 30K a month for 1 hour of calls per day and just like him to like abuse me whenever, right? And like
Right.
this insurance company was his old boss is the CEO of this insurance company. So that's how I got it.
I see.
Or his old mentor. I don't think it was ever his like boss. Well, it probably
People
was.
don't
I don't
talk
know.
about that enough, but there's so much value in like
Because
the
this guy,
networking serendipity side of things. Like
yeah,
you're making cash.
because
That's one thing.
this guy, like the guy that I consult with and doing that, he like is very much like, how would you say, like his insurance. He's an insurance company, but it's like benefits insurance. Like if have a company,
Mm.
like so it's 100% B2B. Like they don't even have any like B2C insurance. It's like more like a group benefits company versus like the other one is just like everything insurance. Like they pretty much gobble up whatever you want. But I think like, yeah, they're not your boss, but they're kind of your boss. I don't know.
At
Because,
that level of money, I feel like you
yeah,
have to do what they say if you want to continue, right?
yeah, but you definitely both need each other. That's, I guess, every business relationship, but you definitely need each other. They don't want to, because, like, I think on an inherent level, they buy 79,000 leads, anyone of their 5 competitors are going to buy it for the same price. They don't want to make you that mad either.
That's a good point.
But it's like I deal with one person. It's just some guy. I don't even know what his title is. He's like probably relatively high up, but I just like we have like a weekly meeting, and like
Junior
the
analyst,
the
intern.
the arguments are always over like these aren't real leads. Like if you try to do this, like you're never gonna get past that. Like
Yeah.
okay, like this percentage of leads, like okay, whatever. Like these are not qualified. Okay, like so
Sure.
that's like the argument if you're going to be an affiliate with or just any lead gen agency. Like these
Same
leads
thing with like
suck.
cold email leads, right? It's like,
Yeah,
oh, these
these
are
leads suck.
unqualified.
I'm not paying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always going to be like you never get away from arguing about that. But at the same time, they have so much money they don't care. 79,000 people are going to them. They're taking away 79,000 people from their competitors. So it's like double whammy. And a lot of them are just I don't know. You'd think like these companies could hire like a good performance marketer. They're worth like hundreds of billions of dollars. It's just not how it works for a lot of them. They just like their entire stuff is just cold calling or just like buying leads from. You'd think that someone around somewhere could buy them, but I think it's like a big brand risk if you start advertising yourself and like how you're perceived and stuff. So it's probably just easier for them to buy it if they have that much money anyway.
That is interesting. Fixed margin, right? Obviously, profit wise, they know exactly what they are spending. It's not as affordable as if they train their staff, but there are probably other downsides that we're not considering.
To be honest, like my 20% markup is probably capping my earnings because my ads are probably like 5 to 10 times lower CPA than they could pull off themselves. But I'd like the stability right now.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Get to subtly advertise this to other people who are watching
Yeah,
this.
no, for sure.
All these other insurance CEOs who are watching this podcast.
Oh, yes, we do very well with the insurance CEO demographic.
Yeah, but it's good. And then I got a software like, yeah, but affiliate's not for people who don't know what they're doing. Like I hate when people go on Twitter and like you should start your first business should be as an affiliate. Like it sounds good, right? Because I don't have to do anything. I just generate leads, but not really.
Well, there's a lot of knowledge you need to build in order to get to the point where you got it. Like you got to do your ad knowledge, the selling knowledge, the benefit knowledge. You can't just be a great ads person.
Yeah, that's why I always recommend people get their agency up first, and then like you can get something different at some point. But drop shipping doesn't even work anymore. Affiliate, you need too much knowledge. in real life business is expensive. E-com is expensive. Like you can't just start it for free or cheap anymore. So like kind of leaves you with an agency because then you're going to get paid for no cost, hopefully, and hopefully get some skills for a few years and then you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the best. And a lot of people whine about it, but they just just don't know what they're doing. It's skill issue.
Sure. The fastest way to pay down skill debt, knowledge debt, client management debt, for sure.
Yeah, they're going to fail whatever they do, those kind of people. So it doesn't really have anything to do with agency.
No comment. Matt, you're in Los Angeles right now, right?
I am in Los Angeles, yes.
How was the trip, man?
It was not good. I got detained at U.S. Customs and Border Patrol.
You're not allowed to say that.
I know. It was not good, but I got through. Donald Trump personally detained me.
He flew out to shake this man.
Him and Tom Homan. Like, are you trying to live in here illegally? And I'm like, no.
You got the first casualty of the border czar.
I know. I was like, I got absolutely, I fumbled it because I maybe went through our airport, Calgary airport, 1,000 times at this point, and I never got asked like even more than one question at customs.
Mm-hmm.
And then this lady's like, I'm like, okay, where are you going? I'm like, vacation. She's like, how long? 30 days. Like, why don't you have a return ticket? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm just like going for vacation. She's like, are you going to be working down there? I'm like, yeah, probably, like remotely. And then she's like, well, what are you doing in the United States from this day to this day? Like, seeing like, oh, there's a girlfriend now. Okay. Is she going to be there? I'm like, yeah. She's like, are you trying to establish resident and live in the United States illegally? I'm like, no. She's like, okay, like we have to go bring you in for some questioning here. I'm just like, I was like, I was lacking. I fumbled so hard.
You most definitely fumbled the ball on all counts.
I was not.
Are you going to work there? You're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, I fumbled it so bad. I got to be on my guard next time. Next time I'm gonna have a folder of documents proving my ties.
Dossier. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be all stimmed out, caffeinated.
Yeah. They're not gonna ask me anything. That's how it goes. But yeah, what are you doing this week? What's your thing that you've been doing?
Yeah, I got a couple good points for you, Matt. They're not shit points. You ready for the best points ever?
First time. Okay. Yep.
I mean, I set you up for that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, listen. Big point number one is mixed length videos. So you know that I make a ton of long form content, right?
Mm-hmm.
The vast majority of my content's like an hour. I think my average content time is probably like an hour and 5 minutes or something. So I've experimented with posting shorter videos on purpose. And what I find is, compared to my longer videos, I'm now actually getting a consistent positive effect when I post shorter videos. So I get more subscribers per shorter video. I also have obviously a higher proportional watch time, but a higher watch time as well on the shorter content. And then I also just get more views. So I have a theory there. It's not that shorter form content is better. And I'm not advocating that people that watch this that are making content just do short content. My theory is that whatever content you do, you tend to fatigue the audience you have with that format over time. So if my format is conversational 1 hour plus long videos and I post 100 of those, I fatigue that segment of my audience a little bit. So the juice is for you to intentionally vary the format to help reignite engagement after it's slowly declined over time. And then when you go back to your usual format, well, you've basically just done the same thing again. You've reignited engagement twice because you get that double bounce, right? You switch to the short stuff, now you're switching back to the long stuff. Like the way that I see it, you know how, established businesses will spend a portion of their money on R&D, like some small little cut, right? I don't know, 3% or 5% or something. Now, R&D is like stuff that doesn't produce an immediate return on investment, essentially. I think that this is basically the same thing. Like if I were looking back at my content journey and the growth of my brand, it would be to invest a little bit more in experimentation, even if I'm not confident that it'll pay off, because I get these knowledge gems like this. So like one thing that we disagree on is there's this guy named Charlie Morgan who's like a consultant that does kind of similar videos. And we were looking at his multiples using some tool. I think it was 1 of 10 or something. They show your little like average engagement score right next to the video. And so I was looking at his videos, and I was seeing that he was varying the format a lot. Like he was trying new things basically with like every 3 or 4 videos. And his results were much worse than in the past. And Matt said something along the lines of, yeah, like, I think Charlie probably should have stuck with the previous format. It looks like it's working really well. But I was thinking that like that risk that he was taking, the loss in short-term viewership was going to lead to higher long-term viewership. I think this is basically that same concept, just applied to my own YouTube channel. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
how many videos are you going to do that? Like every third video or something? Every fourth video?
Something like that. Something like that. Like I want to make it consistent. I don't want to make it so consistent that people predict and they're like, oh, it's the third video. It's time for a short one. But like I want there to have, some cadence to it, because there is obviously.
You think they care that much? You think they're really thinking about it like that?
Of course, I'm the Marilyn Monroe of my industry.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, man. So like there's within my audience now of 50 whatever K now, like a portion of them don't have the time to watch the long stuff, and a portion of them probably just get tired of watching long stuff all day, right? Similarly with a portion of the wider internet that gets tired of watching really short stuff that doesn't actually add a lot of value. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I know this sounds like really normie, and not at all, like super valuable, but I find that the most valuable things in life just tend to be the simplest. Like you should just vary your content length a little. I'm definitely varying my content lengths, and I'm seeing a trend. Like I went viral the other day on a 15-minute video. It's been like 35 hours or some shit, and I think I'm at 17 or 18,000 views on that one clip.
I saw that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
really simple video. Took me like 20 minutes to put together.
20 minutes,
something like that. Yeah, literally took me like 20 minutes to put together too. Like think about the return on effort there. I think it's already got me several.
Yeah, it's 15:53. I'm in your chat. I have access to your channel.
You're in my. you just always have that open in another tab, don't you?
No, like when I go to YouTube Studio, I actually like in my search bar, the first one I searched in my browsing history was yours, so it always goes to yours. It's so annoying.
Knows who's top dog.
It's so annoying. But yeah,
what do you think about
that? I don't really agree that much, to be honest.
Same as the Charlie Morgan thing.
I think as long as you're actually doing the same content that you did before, it's fine. But like, I think that in the specific Charlie Morgan one, he didn't just experiment. He like completely changed his videos from being in front of a whiteboard to edited content. And that's those whiteboard ones that were long form, like very natural, like pretty much zero editing is what got him to where he is. And now he was, at least, I don't know. I don't really follow his videos too much, like on a day-to-day, unless I'm trying to like research something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think, like, let's actually pull it up here because I would be curious. I think he's basically abandoning what got him there in the first place.
Yeah, no, I see your point. I think the key is not to abandon.
Yeah, same like, and it looks like he kind of changed back, to be honest.
Did he? What was the thing that made him really
now
big?
He's doing. Well, he used to be just like super long videos in front of a whiteboard.
Kinda like me, yeah.
Except like a real whiteboard. Like,
oh, I got it. That makes sense.
And now he's doing like iPad videos, it looks like, in the most part, and now it looks like it's back. So I think he's proven my point here.
I mean, no, fair enough. Listen, I think you can't abandon the thing that got you there in the first place, right?
That's why I think you should still be making make.com videos to some degree.
Yeah.
I
was planning on
yeah.
I was planning on doing make videos and then edit videos, but I wanted to finish the editing course. But I think you're right. I don't think I should abandon.
It should be like one make.com, one N8N, and then one AI agent or something.
Like, yeah. It's interesting too, and this is off topic, but when I started my channel, every time I made a make.com video, I'd have like way higher engagement. Then over time, as my audience got more broad and started asking me questions about making money, I started making more money content. The engagement that I got every time I made a make.com video went down. And then eventually it started being, hey, when I add a term like, $1 million earned in my video, or how I made 100K or something, that I'd have a massive spike. Now I'm finding it's when I do something related to N8N, I have a massive spike. So like my audience, this demonstrates that fatigue aspect again, I think. And it's not just fatigue of me, it's fatigue of the market, right? Like there are all these short-term market trends, and people get tired of them very quickly. I think like the AI agents trend, I do think it's still a higher ROI than most other things you can make content on. But I'm seeing just in comments and stuff, I'm sort of picking up the general vibe, and that's that people are starting to think, wait a second, are people actually making money with this? Doesn't really seem like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it's not really
now there's a good
useful.
opportunity for some guy like me to make a video like the truth about AI agents, for instance, right? It's like, hey, AI agents are really cool. They don't actually make you too much money. There are these little windows of opportunity, I think, that crop up. And if you really wanted to be smart and savvy, you do sort of have to have your ear to the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know about that. That was my entire agency. I was like one of 3 reputable CRO agencies in like the hottest CRO market, and then
Mm.
now everybody does it.
Mm.
So like it was iOS 14, and everyone's ads were screwed. So they have to try to get some other way to get their costs down, and the only thing is to increase your conversion rate if you're not going to improve your ads.
Right.
So I know all about this, yes. But I was like
Yeah.
looking through his channel there, and I didn't even find any videos. I don't know if I just am remembering not correctly, but the ones that he had like that are like seem to be gone. So
Did he remove them?
I don't know. I don't want to
Wow,
accuse him
that'd be a
of
really
anything
weird
like that.
strategy.
Not that I
Yeah.
really care anyway.
You ever meet the guy?
No, never. Seems
Cool.
chill though.
He
Seems
does
really
seem pretty
cool.
chill. Yeah, I mean, he seems really similar to us.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he would be like my competitor that much as far looking on the outside at least. Because my people, like when they come up to me, they're usually doing like 500K a year, sometimes more.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of like some other people where like you come in at like 10 or 20K and you get to whatever, like a month.
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah,
know,
totally.
but he seems chill. I like I probably would like Charlie.
You know, we're at the point where we could just reach out to anybody that we want to talk to realistically. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. So Liam Otley reached out to me. You know Liam Otley? He's one of the big guys in the
Just
automation
from
space.
yeah, just in the context of YouTube automation.
He's basically like the biggest, he kind of came onto the scene first and introduced this AI automation agency model. So similar stuff to SMMA, like Ty Lopez, the 4-letter agency acronym that like everybody loses their shit over. But yeah, he was just like, yo. I'm pretty sure the subject line of the email is literally just yo. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you can get away with that. You could just say yo to people and like, oh
Mhm.
shit, right. That's Liam Otley. That's the big guy. Like, I bet you could totally just reach out to Charlie and be like, yo, dude, what's going on? Like, we make pretty similar content. You want to grab like,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm not very social. I probably should be more like networking.
Yeah, I know. Me too, man. Me too.
I talked to quite a few people. I don't want to say their name on here, but like who are big in funnels and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I've been added to quite a few group chats over the time, like over the last year, especially. Where
Yeah, you've been great at the group chat thing. Adding me to a bunch as well. I feel like you
yeah,
operate well off of group chats, which is interesting.
yeah, because middle of the night, everyone gets like manic episodes for me sending like 50 messages, and then I don't talk for another week.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of how I operate. Just talk like all at once, and then just never hear from you.
Yeah, that's you, man. Straight up, you just ghost us on the regular. Matt comes in, he bullies one of us. I'm not gonna say here. But he comes in, he bullies one of us relentlessly, and then he like says, "Great job" to another guy, and then he fucking disappears for like 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, pretty much. Wow, that's amazing, man. I
Yeah.
do read all of it. I just don't respond.
No, I know you're a busy guy, Matt. Like
Literally
Charlie
not. I
Moore.
just unless I have something important to say. You know, I just don't say
Oh, that's
anything
nice.
at all.
Mama told me if I didn't have something nice to say, don't say it, huh?
Yeah, it's my dad. Yeah, do not say anything.
Hey,
You don't have
what's
anymore.
point number 3, Matt?
My point number 3 is kind of like the content because I don't know. I might have talked about this in a podcast, but I watched this video from the film booth guy where he ranked the type of content, and the like talking head kind of one, short 10-minute talking head one, like you're talking about, was an A tier in that. So like, or it's S tier, I believe. So it was like right at the top. It was the hybrid ones. It was that one, and then it was something else. But so basically the 3 types of videos I chose are a case study, which is God tier, like an added tier to this. There was like a hybrid client interview where you're just like roasting your client type thing and like demonstrating how powerful you are, how like expert you are. And the last one, like I don't have too much faith in my ability to make like 10-minute talking head videos interesting,
Right.
to be honest.
Right.
So I chose like long form tutorial type thing, this in depth. So most of them are like, watch me do something so you can just see how amazing I am at it. And like optimizing for watch time. So all my videos lately are an hour. All of them have the word agency in it because I'm trying to like get that keyword. Like if you come to my channel, it should be obvious that it's about agencies. And then I don't want to give it all the credit, but I also changed the way I describe my offer. So instead of just like, I'm going to help you, what is it? Probably should know my own offer, but it's build an agency funnel that will convert cold traffic and then operate it with my custom AI models.
Ooh, that's cool.
So
I
the
like that.
combination of those have got me 892% more calls month over month since I changed it over, with the same amount of videos, almost the same amount of traffic. I actually had more traffic the previous month.
Jesus.
So it kind of really does matter, like what you kind of do. Like just getting views and stuff is not always going to work for you, you know?
Mhm.
Just getting as many views as possible. Like for someone like you to just go into like the business how to make 10K per month niche, it'll probably get you more views, but that'll probably destroy your school community type thing.
When you say destroy, you mean just be extraordinarily low value?
Yeah, like just you probably would get it probably shrink type thing because you'd be getting way less new clients who are interested in starting an AI automation agency.
Oh, yes, I see your point. Yeah.
But the
Obviously,
other
the
way, like,
monetizability of this audience is.
so I've gotten. Let me see my views. So I'm just pulling it up
I
here. So
wonder. We should.
it is 1. So I got 25.7K views in the last 28 days, which is not that much, but I got actually 27.4K views the previous 28 days, and I've gotten 892% more calls. So like the content you make is actually matter quite a bit.
Mm.
And I got plus 851 hours of watch time, which is like
Hey, there's just something chunky on your lip. I don't know what it is, but I bet you you'll
50%
look at
more.
it later and be angry at me for not mentioning it. So I am.
Yeah, it's fine. So 53% increase in watch time. So maybe it is the watch time that is very important for getting clients, which probably makes sense, right?
Yes.
So just describing your offer better, because there's literally zero has changed about my offer. It's the exact same thing on the inside, just like a headline.
Yeah.
So I made that my like description headline, pinned comment headline, landing page headline, sales page headline, first line in the VSL. It's on my Calendly as like the description, and then like I say it on sales calls. So what are we doing here? Are we trying to build a funnel that converts cold traffic, and then you want to use my AIs or what? Like, so it's like that plus it's congruent.
Yeah,
because I like the congruent stuff.
It's crazy how few people have congruence, though. Hey? Like the congruence between like your landing page and then like I don't know the VSL that you're pushing people to, and then like the sales call that comes in. Like as somebody that's joined a bunch of these and like tried to go through a bunch of other people's funnels, it's just crazy. Like the massive difference in terminology people use, the difference in like value props, the benefits, even the design of like the pages and stuff that you go through. Do you know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah, like Alex Hormozi's been going hard on the congruence in his videos lately, and that's like one of the like if you have a CRO agency, that's like I don't know, probably in the top 5 things you would do is like just make a landing page based on your best ad creative and like just rip it. For example, I was roasting one of my clients in his videos, and let me see what his headline was. He had such a good headline. So his headline was, oh my God, let me pull it up. But this is an example of what not to do, and he's fixed it, right? Thank God. Thank God. So I'm pulling it up here. Where are we here? So it was we make it easy for Australians to get the best car loans. This is like website and his ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then his landing page is great loans guaranteed.
I see.
And then he changed it.
Low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, like you can't be having that. He might watch this and like say, "Yo, fuck you," but we just
he probably will.
He probably will, but we really gotta have it. You know what I mean? We just have to have that kind of stuff.
Fix it up, man. No, it's massive. It's like how the first few seconds of your YouTube video should basically just paraphrase the title. You're just confirming it's like, hey, you clicked on the right thing.
Exactly. And I think you should be doing like case study videos because I don't even think you need to like improve the case study or like have your client in it or like realistically if you're going that in depth with it, unless you're just like making it up, like you give quite the imagination, I guess some people might, but it's just like then you don't need permission, then you don't need to bother them. You can actually go in depth because if you kind of like name your clients and their business, can't really like say all that stuff anyways, right?
Dude,
Because people are just gonna copy
I
them.
tried having a guy on,
Yeah,
and he just didn't show up to the call that we were supposed to have.
that's a
And it
big
just
L.
like, it was a big L. It kind of frustrated me. So I just like
It's an L for him.
I just never
No,
messaged him again. I was like,
yeah,
I'm just waiting for him to be like, hey, I'm sorry I missed the call. Like, there's like 5 messages from me being like, hey, man. Hey, bro. Hey, dude, you ready for that? Hey, man. Nothing. I'm like, dude, wasn't this going to help you out massively? Anyway,
yeah. Like
whatever.
I have a form that I send to my newsletter every Friday,
Yeah.
and like most of the submissions are trash. Like if you've submitted it and I haven't emailed you, like sorry, but if you're doing 4K a month of revenue, there's not really much set up to be roasting. You
I
know
mean,
what I
not for your
mean?
target audience, but I feel
Yeah.
like for somebody like me who's helping people go from 0 to 1, there still is value in that.
I'm sure it would be, but I'm also trying to attract someone who can afford my services.
Yeah,
And
I guess that's a good
that
point.
would
They
be
wouldn't even be able
so.
to cover in a month.
I honestly think that there would be value in seeing a beginner. It could be good. It could be, because if you help them in like 3 years from now, they could afford it.
For sure.
But like, so my case studies coming out next week are 117K per month to 1.8 million per month in 18 months.
Jesus.
And then 498 million to 963 million in 12 months.
That's the big one.
Yeah, not that I could like really take credit for all. I could, I bet you I could take credit for like 20% of that growth, to be honest.
Jeez. Dude, that's like the GDP of Brunei. Dude,
Yeah.
that's
And that's
that's
that guy that's
wild.
that's the one guy that I was consulting with one call a day earlier who introduced me
Wow.
to the other guy.
Dude,
And he
perfect
actually
strategy.
he like it was his idea for me to make the case study because he watched some of my other ones. He's like, you should make one of us. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, that'd be awesome. And he's like, yeah, I would like to curious because he's like a ball buster. Like, I just get roasted. Like, I don't know.
You get
I honestly
roasted?
think he pays me just to come on and just like be mean to me. But it's cool. I actually learned a lot from him. Like, I should probably be paying him.
Yeah, sure enough. That's
Yeah,
awesome, dude. Wow,
it's
that's
funny.
pretty cool.
And then another one is going to be 30K to 310K, but that was in 2 years, which was
That is fantastic.
still great growth.
We're adding zeros.
And then I should have some more like coming up that are because I don't know, I just kind of randomly make them to be honest. But I have about 15 people that I'm like making them for, and I've posted one so far. So I have a lot of options. And yeah, like when I make them, it's kind of pretty much the same thing. Like the steps are the same. There's just like nuances, right? Because in like for this insurance one, without like revealing all his details, like he was not the founder of this company. Like he's a CEO, but he bought it with like loaned money like a long time ago. And like he doesn't own over 51% of the company. And like it's not a public company, but there's like a board, like he can get ousted at any point.
Right.
But him and the COO combined have over 51%. So as long as they're like chill and like on the same side, like they control the company basically.
Right.
So it's like, okay, we gotta instead of trying to get these goldfish brain people to like make a lead magnet, it's like, how do I make sure that our wives are best friends and like we're best friends so that we don't like get mad at each other and like we have that's like the behavior change
That's
aspect
the
of it.
leverage, dude. That's like a coalition government.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's like instead of behavior change, you can't focus for more than 5 seconds because you're a loser. It's how do I like optimize my tone when I'm talking to the COO? How do I remove the bass in my tone automatically? It's behavior
high
change right
pass
there.
filter on the
Yeah.
microphone works wonders.
Yeah, you better take the bass out of your tone when you're talking to me. I can't remember that show. That's just from a TV show. Oh, I think it was from Yellowstone. But yeah, so content, very important content. The right type of content is what we're trying to go for.
For sure.
So case study, like the film booth guy calls them hybrid interviews. You see Hermosi doing those pretty well actually these days. His are extremely high production value compared to mine, but
the TV show ones.
The TV show ones, I was like,
nice.
He's like, I knew right away what the problem was, and then it goes back. It's actually sick.
Yeah, I know, dude. I love that. I did that for my course, Make Money with Mike. I had a sales call, and I like showed everybody what the sales call was, and I cut in and out, being like, "So the reason I said that was," and people freaking loved it. Like
That's sick.
I think there's so much value in that sort of content. And it's easy for you to make, dude. You do the thing and you just talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, like I probably should be doing that in mine. It's just like you're my client. Like, okay, we're gonna open up your ad account, and like, oh,
Yeah.
it's just so bad. I actually did one on Friday with my personal trainers for their business, and I turned the tables on them. Like you got to eat properly. You got to weigh yourself. You got to like post progress photos and work out. And now I'm just like fucking ripping their above the fold.
That's
And they're
what you
like
get.
post-click experience. Fucking brutal.
Butternut squash. My
Yeah.
fucking ad, yeah.
Wrecked. Gotcha. Tables have turned. So what is your thing? We've talked enough about myself here.
Yeah. Can we just acknowledge the fact that we've just swore like 50 times throughout this podcast?
No.
I was on a podcast with the lovely Jack Roberts, who I find just brilliant. And I should definitely introduce him to you at some point. You guys would get on very well. I think everything he says just sounds way smarter also because he has an English accent. You know what I mean? Like when people just have European, I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, that sounded really smart, Then I'm like, if I say it back, I sound like a freaking idiot. But anyway, he said it was an after hours podcast. So I swore. He's like, nah, mate, it's an after hours podcast.
That's just how British people are as well.
I was like, dude, that's great. So Matt, our podcast is an after hours podcast. Okay.
It is dark, as you can see, for me at least.
It has darkened pretty quick.
It is dark.
It tends to get pretty dark in LA. Huh?
Yeah, early.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. Well, like the Earth's axis, so it's near the equator. As close to the equator is the dark.
Podcast.
Yeah. I'm pretty smart. So what is your thing? If you want to like bring, if you just want to get Jack Roberts on here, like just add him to the thing right now. It's fine.
Call a friend type deal.
Yeah.
Jack's face pops up.
Yeah, just ask. It's no problem.
Here, my idea is actually pretty valuable, but I am finding like the ideas that we're both bringing to the table. Mine tend to be more like productivity oriented regarding myself. Like maybe tactical and productivity. I feel like yours are a grander strategy, to be honest, which I think
sums up the difference between you and me.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So mine is all about gentle on-ramps. So what I mean by gentle on-ramp, you know how like Brian Tracy and all these other productivity guys always say you should do your first big 3 scary things, eat the frog, that sort of deal. But you also know how like the military guy that we've all seen the YouTube video of recommends that you like do your bed every morning.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that I see it, this is something that I've been thinking a lot about just over the course of last week because I've struggled with some of my daily actionables, like revenue generating actionables, just because, I was on my trip and it's just been very difficult to consistently stay motivated when I have a completely different lifestyle, completely different hours and so on and so forth. So the idea is a gentle on-ramp. So you basically take the best of both worlds, okay? So like the reality is if you wake up every morning, you do the hardest thing ever, there's a fair amount of friction involved in doing that thing, right? And so you can do it for a while usually, but as you continue to do it over and over and over again, it typically gets harder to do it. You start looking for ways to procrastinate that big scary thing. And this is just, it's just part of life, right? Like when you do something enough, it just tends to be boring or you start focusing more on the negatives and, grass is always greener, right? Humans are like that. So this idea of the gentle on-ramp is basically, instead of doing the scariest, most annoying, probably highest ROI thing first in the day, you actually start with something a lot lower ROI, but a lot easier. And then you use that as your gentle productivity on-ramp to like get started with work. And the second that you start work, you know how easy it is to keep working, right? So a quick example is my one of my big items for every day is I need to create some sort of content, right? So, I'm creating YouTube content for the main channel and then for the daily updates channel and now for Instagram and stuff like that. So I typically have to make some sort of content if I want to keep the ball rolling. But creating content like is actually, I'm not going to like sit here and bitch and moan about how hard it is. It's really not hard, right? Like hit the oil rig, bro. Like, come on. But, it's like a creative task. Like it takes a fair amount of mental energy and effort to like get yourself in the mindset of creating a content. It's like writing, right? How many people procrastinate writing their book or whatever? A lot because it's pretty hard, all things considered. It takes a lot out of your brain. So instead of me making content first thing in the morning, what I've started doing is I've just started doing my community management instead. Do you know what I mean by community management? Have I talked to you about this before? It's
Yes.
where I basically go through Maker School and Make Money with Make, and I just respond to all of the threads where people tag me, or threads that I find interesting, or threads that I think that I can offer value, or threads where somebody misunderstands part of the program. And the bar, the friction is so much lower to do that than to create content, that by the time that I'm doing that, I can usually just immediately start creating content. Do you know what I mean? It's a gentle
Yes.
on-ramp to my day. Like strategically, the way that it works is I will go and I'll make my coffee, and then I have my coffee, and then I'm like still kind of bleary-eyed and stuff. Then I sit down and then I start typing away, and I'm like, oh, that was a pretty simple question. I'll do that in 5 seconds. Oh, that was really easy. I'll do that in 30 seconds. And like within 20 or 30 minutes, like I've knocked out a task for my day, my community management. But two, like I'm now working. I've stopped, it's like I'm now an object in motion. And unless something happens, I will continue to stay in motion. And it's just been so much easier for me to do this gentle on-ramp to working, then get into the content versus just, do the content. So yeah, that's my main takeaway. Look for gentle on-ramps.
I do the opposite of those. Like people, I always do the easiest, do it in easy order of easiness.
Yeah. Wait, you mean you do the easiest thing first and then the harder, harder, harder? Yeah, me too. Yeah, for sure.
It's like Dave Ramsey's debt snowball, You got to knock out your 100%, first. So usually I do either learn for 1 hour, like just watch someone's YouTube video, or I just have like all of like random crap tasks that I have to do, that someone has to do, and it's going to take longer to delegate. That's what most people tell you. It just takes longer to delegate it.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
to do. If it takes 1 minute, like why are you delegating it? Just do it.
For sure.
So like tomorrow, my first hour, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be installing Google Analytics, Microsoft Clarity, Search Console, hooking up some stuff to Hype Fury, putting my VWO pixel. Oh, finish this one actually.
What's a VWO pixel?
VWO is an A/B testing tool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these are all gentle one-off tasks that you can do within 5 minutes, right? They get the
sign up for LeadBite. Like make a 1-page document about how to choose your niche. Upload some receipts. Get this podcast on Apple and Spotify.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so then you're getting somewhere. I tried every piece of advice, but I always found it easier the way we're doing it.
Yeah, I think it's
try learning for the first hour every day. That's a good one.
Yeah, dude. I used to do that back when I was self-teaching computer programming and AI. I just wake up at the ass crack of dawn, like 4 or 5 a.m. And then as I like slowly woke up, I'd put on a lecture. And then by the time the lecture was done, I was awake. And then I had already done something very valuable with my day.
Right.
But I think us doing this is just being pragmatic about the realities of motivation, right? Like human, the behavior change that we're talking about, like we're not brains in a vat, like we're people, obviously. And we have our downsides. And this is just being pragmatic that like human beings need some sort of feedback or positive result. You checking a task off that notebook, that's like a little bit of the dopamine, which keeps you going, pushes you to the next task. So I'm all big on the small shit.
As you cross it off, write down that you completed it on the next page. It's even better. Double.
So you cross it off, and then you also say that you completed it, and then you can say that you wrote down that you completed it on the next page. And then after you're done with that,
no, it's good. It actually works. I don't know why it works. It's stupid, but it works.
Humans are stupid sometimes.
I like this guy. I like this guy's Jeremy Haynes videos. Where he's I like his videos, but I like when he says, "I don't want to be right. I want to make money."
I don't know who that is. I don't think I've seen him yet.
He's like an info product guy.
I just realized that's like the worst thing that you should say on a podcast, that you don't know who somebody is.
No, he's good. You should watch him. He'd probably be useful. Well, probably wouldn't be useful for you because he sells high ticket, and you're
I'll check him
dumb
out.
and don't sell high ticket.
I just mean like imagine you just like getting interviewed by somebody in a podcast. You're like, oh yeah, this person was talking about you. Or this person's concepts are really similar. He's like, I don't know who that is, and they just move on.
Yeah. I really, but sorry, I like Jeremy. it. I don't want to be right. I want to make money or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what he says. It's good.
Yeah.
So I don't give a that's why I do it. That's a pretty good advice. So yeah, the easiest stuff, I always do the opposite of that. I go, I'm going to make 10 videos today. And then I make 10 videos for one day and then stop the next day.
Every time, dude. Every time, man. But listen, you're raking in the R right now.
I am raking in the R.
You're raking in the R. So who's right, really?
I don't know. Yeah. I think maybe we could be both right and both wrong.
I suppose.
I don't know. I think like something good is like when you're like, because you start something new, you're like heavily motivated, and then you just feel free to go do that, and then but set your like standards like lower.
Mm.
Like if you want to, people work out like 2 hours a day when they get first started. You do that for like 90 days, and then go down to like 1 hour, and then go down to like 3 times per week.
That's actually
That's why
reasonable.
I'm training to run 10K in like 36 minutes is my hope, right? So like basically
Jesus.
6 minute mile ish.
Jesus.
So I'm not anywhere close to spoilers here, but so I've been running for an hour. Right now I'm running, like the next time I run will be 5 miles per hour for this hour, right? And
Right.
every time I do it 3 times per week, I add 0.1 miles. So it's good because like that's a manageable pace, like manageable thing to do gradually over time. But also like as you get up there, it's like as a percentage, 0.1 miles per hour increase gets lower and lower and lower. Like right now,
Oh, I
it's going
didn't
to
think
be the
about that.
highest. Like if you go from 9.7 miles per hour to 9.8, that's way less than you're going from 4 miles an hour to 4.1. So it actually, the increase is less and less over time, even though it's the same thing. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
kind of like increasing like that, where it's just instead of a percentage, you just do a standard amount because it's actually less over time.
That's really interesting. That probably takes into account like the base human drop off that we talked about, where things just get perceivably tougher over time. So if you make it easier,
Mm-hmm.
like if you, because you're basically just going up linearly, right? You're not going up a percentage
Yeah,
amount. You're
just
going up
linearly.
0.1 every time. So,
Mm.
5 to 5.1 is 2%, but 9.9 or 10 to 10.1 is 1%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I want to do it in 36 minutes, I believe I got to run 12 miles an hour or so.
Wait, 12? You got to go all the way up to 12?
I believe so.
Dude, that's crazy. I was doing it in
I
sprints a little while ago at like 10, and it was like,
really, so might not be possible. We'll see, I guess. But if you go that gradually, it should be possible. I have long ass legs, but I'm like, I'm doing it. I definitely could be going faster right now, but I'm just following my system.
yes,
Like
yes.
I can walk 5 miles per hour with my like height and leg. Like I'd be
Yeah,
walking
that's true.
fast, but I'm just kind of like.
Didn't even think
Whereas I
about
don't know
that.
it's gonna be to like 8 miles an hour where I'm actually look like I'm running. It's kind of like I'm just like lazily bouncing right now at 5 miles per hour. But I'm not gonna try to get ahead of myself either because I've done that before.
I'm doing the opposite as you, by the way. I'm running shorter rather than longer, but I'm running shorter a lot faster. I did I'm doing like, normally I want to do 5Ks. So I'm doing like 2.5K. And then I'm doing, last time I think I did a 23 minute and 45 second like pace.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically the exact opposite of what you're doing. I'm running shorter for a lot faster. I think your way is like, people say that it's better, but I got to be honest, man, I hate running a really long time.
Yeah,
Like
the
kudos to
number
you
one
for
constraint
pushing
is
it.
boredom. That's
Yeah,
what people do. I always listen to
absolutely.
Jeremy Haynes when I always watch his YouTube videos on the treadmill. Yeah. You know, like that thing where you go traveling, where you have like that thing where you clamp onto the seat and it holds your
Yes.
phone. I
Yes.
have that on the treadmill. It's
Damn.
good. Yeah.
Jeez. Where are you going to run in LA? Just outside, I take it?
There's a treadmill.
Just
I
going to have
always
treadmill?
get it.
Not going to
No,
have beautiful LA weather?
no.
All
I
right.
like to run outside. Honestly, I like the treadmill. It's the
It's
same
different.
distance, same
It's different.
flatness. It is different. Maybe
Like
one
it's
day.
harder outside for sure. Like I just came back from a run right before our thing, before I ate. And it
Oh
was
yeah.
like way harder outside than it was inside.
You should try. I went to Malibu in January, and like it's only hills, and I was trying to get my runs in. It's either like you're going down like this or you're going up, and my calves are just nailed.
That's brutal. Matt,
It's fun.
what's number 5, man? What do you got?
Number 5 is all the whiners. It's inspired by the whiners,
Oh
but
boy.
inspired by everybody. But like so many people, I don't know about your community, but I have like the beginner community, the middle one, and the high one, I guess. And there's whiners to varying degrees in all of them. Whining is not revenue specific.
Hmm.
So they're like, it's always some variation of, I can't work at least 20 times per week, by the way, because I have like just so many clients. Like
Right. Yes, you're just
700.
massive.
Yeah. So it's always like I can't focus. I watch YouTube all day. I hear it all too. I'm literally like people's like I watch porn all day. I watch YouTube all day. I just eat food and I go to sleep. I'm on Twitter all day or whatever. Like there's honestly an infinite variation. I've heard some real fucked up things from like these people, which is fair enough. I guess we're not naming any names here. So, but the thing that like I got told as a young person, like you never really solve like this is mostly like addiction, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to anything like just because it's not like drugs or something doesn't mean it's not addiction.
Yeah.
Because gambling addiction is not anything you're ingesting or drinking or shooting up or something, but it's like the same thing. So I always got told, and I wrote this down. So if I see me, like in the real messed up way, like whatever is distracting these people is not the problem, right? It's the solution in their mind. Like they don't think of it like that, but they're watching YouTube for 10 hours per day instead of doing your work is actually the solution to your problem. Like that's what you're using to cope instead of actually probably you don't know something, you suck at something, you don't really believe that you can do it. So you're just finding something to cope with that. Where a lot of people think YouTube's their problem in the example, but it's actually the solution and they got to find their problem. And when you find your problem, you're not going to be watching YouTube anymore. Like I know I actually watch YouTube probably too much compared to most people.
Yeah.
But like when you're actually in the zone and you're locked in and you're making a lot of money, getting a lot of sales, you don't actually watch YouTube or scroll Twitter. It's just when you're sucking at something
Yeah.
and you need to like get something out of the way and you may know what it is, you might not. And then once you do, like when you're very happy, for example, you don't like eat a bunch of crap food. You don't like watch porn. I don't know. I don't watch that anymore. But when I was like 15, maybe. And then, like you don't I'll do all of this stuff because you're in the zone, you're happy. So like a lot of people need to like understand that, I think. And if they're going to fix whatever there is, they can't view it backwards. Because in like all these addictions, it's just backwards thinking more than everything. I saw Tucker Carlson roasting Piers Morgan on an interview about NATO, right? Where it's like Tucker Carlson, of course, is like, NATO is the reason that we have the bloodiest war in 80 years. And then Piers is like, well, if Ukraine was in NATO, then Russia would have invaded, and then Tucker Carlson's like, this is like an addiction, you think it's the thing that's destroying you, but you think it's saving you because Tucker Carlson used to be addicted to vodka, right?
Really?
So, yeah, like he like said that in the clip, like, I feel so shitty, I have to have a glass of vodka. And it's like
Wow.
the same thing with NATO in this clip. And it's the same thing with YouTube, with Twitter, with whatever. Like these people think that, this is saving them, it's destroying them type thing. And once you really get over that, you're going to do a lot more productivity. And who knows what the real problem is? I'm sure it could be an infinite variation. I'm not getting enough sales. Like that's probably a high level problem. And then there's 100 sub problems. I just lost a client. Maybe I'm posting my first YouTube video ever and I'm too nervous to get what people will think. So I just watch YouTube all day instead or scroll Twitter, like whatever. But that's probably the good advice I've been giving lately. That's not just like you're stupid and you need to just do all of these things at once.
Not like Matt's usual advice.
Yeah, sometimes like that is the right advice. Like,
right, for sure.
Yeah, like going back to my roast of my fitness trainers, we have a question like, how are we supposed to make these YouTube videos and like do sales all at once? Because we already have full calendars. We don't have a quota. Just get it. Like, stop fucking around. Just do it. They're like, okay. It's like, and I told them it's like me asking you guys, how do I lose weight without counting calories and taking a progress video? Just stop fucking around.
Yes, yeah.
Like, let's just start. Just like,
let's just be real here. I know you're smart enough. Yeah.
So like, I think that's going to be good advice to them. I can't remember who told me that, but probably my first mentor. Like, you got to stop just doing it. I think I've heard variations of that on like certain like Orthodox Christian YouTube channels too. Can't remember what this guy's name. Big beard, but that's not really helpful because that's basically all of them.
Thank you.
It's basically all of them.
Saint Georgie or Saint Vlas?
Yeah. But yeah, you really got to fix that. Like whatever you go on your screen time and you have like this much time on Twitter, it's just probably because you have some underlying problem that sometimes you might know it, but probably I think most of the time you don't know what it is. Because if you know your problem is, you probably just fix it, or else we're gonna go back to your stupid advice. If you
I think
know what your problem is and you don't fix it,
and you choose not to fix it, like the alternative to your stupid advice. This is actually a term in psychology called acrasia, where you know what the thing you should be doing is, you just don't do it regardless, right? Like, there's all this evidence, every fiber of your being is like, I should do this thing. And then you just can't actually go ahead and do it for motivational issues. So like, if you don't want to just say the words, you're stupid, Maybe
Oh,
Google
you're
that at
suffering
some
from
point.
acrasia right now.
Yes. That's it, man.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
It seems
can
weird
say
coming
that.
out of your mouth.
Jack Roberts needs to do it for me.
It'd be like, God damn, that guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. You're on point as usual with the problem, not the solution. Anecdotally, when I label what a problem is, it ceases to be a problem pretty quick. Like if I can just label what the thing is, like I can't tell you the number of times in my life, and it probably doesn't work for everybody, but I just feel terrible and I'm just really fucked up, in my head about something, or I just feel awful, or I don't know, like I'm all emotional. But the second that I label the reason for the emotion, like the problem that resulted in me feeling that way, the emotion basically disappears immediately, assuming it's negative.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
those
why am I so
problems
frustrated
snowball.
today? Yes. It's like,
It's
why am I
like,
so frustrated today? It's like, oh, I don't know, back in high school, because I was picked to present in class and I look like a total moron. So it's like my self-esteem and like my insecurity and my shame that's making me feel frustrated. It's like the second that you know that, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's done. I give you
yeah,
thousands of examples, but
and they all like relates. Like, I am nervous about paying my mortgage right now
yeah,
and going on vacation because I don't have enough revenue, and all my revenue comes from my YouTube videos, and I'm not making them because I am get discouraged because they don't reach new audiences, because my thumbnails aren't good enough and my intros aren't scripted. So I better get a teleprompter and I better go get a photo shoot of intro or thumbnail pictures.
and then your teleprompter breaks, and then you
Yeah, I broke drop my teleprompter, but yeah, basically something like that. And then yeah, like most people will be like not know what it is and they'll just watch, like, scroll Twitter instead.
for
And
sure.
then feel even worse.
Yeah.
And then and then like start yelling at their wife for being like ungrateful or something.
Yeah, for sure, man. You lash out in so many ways.
Not me, I don't have a wife, but it's
No,
fine.
you do not have a wife. You may have a wife at some point, though.
One day.
One day. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But yeah, you just gotta do
Good
it.
pod-
You just gotta figure it out.
Good podcast, man.
Yeah, I think
really
we
fun.
can wrap it up there.
I mean, unless you had something actually interesting you wanted to say.
No.